Hello, welcome to our channel for programming with R for beginners. In this video, we will show how to use filter commands of Dplyr package in R. So we know Dplyr is actually a data manipulation package which is part of so-called tidyverse. It is a big library in R, and tidyverse and Dplyr is a collection of libraries that has the goal of making R faster, simpler, and easier. And Dplyr use the pipe structure, so an arrow with percent, so this is called pipe structure. We will talk more later, which is a better way to encapsulate functions. So this is a chaining of multiple functions in one statement, in one run. And the library has currently dozens of functions available to perform data manipulation and wrangling. So here we will talk about the filter command, which is used to eliminate rows or called records or observations you do not want, based on some specific criteria. So next we will show how to use filter function in Dplyr. So first we will load tidyverse library. Because tidyverse is very big, if you have not installed, you can also, for example, just install Dplyr package. Yes, I can use library Dplyr. It's also enough to use all examples here. So we use a data called empty class in R installation. So we show several observations of this data frame. So you can see data empty class show the different types of cars and with over 10 variables: MPG, cylinder, displacement, horsepower, gear, weight. So we can select different observations based on various criteria. So first, we will select only cars with 6 cylinders. So this is cylinder. Cylinder has 4, 6, 8, right? So here we select only 6 cylinder only. So this is the variable or object we will create based on this function. So just 6 cylinder only, field empty class. So here, because we just use only one function, we do not use pipeline, just use as it like normal R functions. So field empty class with cylinder equals 6. So next we will show 6 cylinder only data frame. This is a new data frame. Now the cylinder, all cylinders are 6 now. So 8 and 4 cylinder observations are excluded. So you can also use a multiple condition in field function. For example, now we will field the dataset empty class for both 6 cylinders and 110 horsepower. So we just create a new data frame called 6 cylinder and 110 horsepower, which equals the filter function of empty class. So after then cylinder equals 6, horsepower equals 110. So quite clear, right? So we should run this command and show the data frame. So it actually has only 3 observations in this new data frame now. 6 for the cylinder and horsepower 110. You can also use OR in field function. So OR appear as a bar in the field function. So here we select gear is 4 or more than 8, or cylinder more than 8. So this is new data frame and field data frame empty class, gear equals 4 or cylinder larger than 6. So either of the conditions met, then these observations will be filtered and selected in the new data frame. We show this new data frame. Gear is 4 and cylinder larger than 6. We'll check. There are lots of observations. So cylinder larger than, because cylinder larger than 6 or gear equals 4, because this is all, right? So gear is 4, but here cylinder less than, not larger than 6, right? Because only one of the conditions met. So gear is 4, but cylinder is larger and less than 6 now. And cylinder larger than 6, but gear is not 4, it's 3 now. So either of the conditions met, then it will be filtered into the new data frame. And you can also filter by minimum, maximum, and other numeric criteria. For example, a single row with the smallest engine displacement. So we will show this is the new data frame. This time we will filter observation with a displacement with the minimum value of the displacement. We show how it is going. So empty cars displace equals minimum displace. And we show this data frame only one observation, because displacement is a continuous variable and the minimum displacement only match with one observation. This is the minimum value of displacement. So we show again, if you want to show several conditions, you just use a comma. So this is the first condition and this is the second condition in the field. So here we use a data frame called data check weight. Then we create a new data frame called check subset, which is the filtering from check weight by time less than 3 and weight larger than 53. So the new data frame, time less than 3 and weight larger than 53. So both conditions are met, then observations are selected. And one example is you may often use it to work out with a missing value. So here we will show data frame or air quality, and we show several observations. First 10 observations of air quality. You can see the several not available missing value here. Then we can choose the observations without missing value. For example, no missing value ozone, which means this data frame is the filtering from the original data frame and no missing value for the ozone variable. If we look at ozone variable, the missing value here, so 2 missing value, first 10 observation. So we will exclude the missing value observations only for ozone. Then we show first 8 observations now. There are no missing value for the ozone variable, but may have missing value for the other columns, right? Because we only filter by this ozone variable in operation. So if you want to filter all the variables and filter missing values anywhere in the data set, so this will remove any rows containing an not NA in any column. So here we will use field air quality, for example, first 10 observation, and use complete cases of air quality first 10 observation. So which means we only work the first 10 observations, right? So from these first 10 observations, any columns will have at least missing value, then this observation will be removed, will be filtered, excluded in the new data frame. So we will show how it is going, and this is the new data frame. So now it's only 7 observations left in the first 10 observations. So now these 7 observations have no any not available value in any column. So here we will use in function is a powerful operator, will provide a convenient shorthand for including excluding special values. For example, we will use data frame for Iris data frame. Then we show the table for the counts for Iris species variable. So for the species, you can see 3 values: Setosa, versicolor, and virginica. 3 values only each have 550 observations, right? And how many observations? 150. So it's quite clear. So Iris data frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns, 5 variables, and for the species there are 3 types of value, and for 150 observations, 50 belong to Setosa, 50 belong to virginica, and 50 belong to the other value. So now we will select only 2 types value, so which means observations only with the variable species in Setosa and virginica. So we show filter Iris and species in this vector. Vector has 2 values which we want to select. So next, we show the table for this new data frame's species variable. So now only virginica and Setosa has 50 observations for each, and versicolor has no observations. And we show how many observations for this new data frame. Only 100 observations, quite clear, because 50 observations for the versicolor not selected, right? And we can also combine the filter function, and then after filter function we can select which columns. So it's quite clear. This time we use data air quality, and the new data frame is coming from filter function with air quality, but this time we set ozone level larger than 29, then select the first 3 variables of this air quality. Because if we just show the air quality, there are 6 variables, right? So this time we select only 3 columns after having filtered ozone level larger than 29. So we show the new data frame only 3 columns, and all the ozone level are larger than 29 now, right? You can also filter by total frequency of a value across all rows. For example, we showed empty cast data frames gear table. So gear's value 3, 4, 5 has these observations. So now only 3 rows whose total counts exceed 10 are included in output. So we can choose most frequent number of gears. This is a new data frame. This time we can use the pipeline. So empty cars is the pipeline passed to the group by function. So group by function is used to group by gear, but by group by this data frame by gear variable. This means based on this gear value, we'll get a table for the group. Group for gear is 3. Next group for gear is 4, right? Then gear is 5. So group by is used for this kind of operation. But next, we will pass this group by result to the field function. Then inside the field function is the criteria is n function. So n function, which means the counts of observations. So this pipeline 3 lines means we will group by data frame empty cars by variable gear first. Then for each group gear, we will select observations larger than 10. So if the observations are not larger than 10, we will not select this group, right? Then next we will show table for this new data frame for the gear variable. So you can see now on gear 3 and 4 are selected and gear 5 not selected because gear 5 has observations not larger than 10, right? So if we just show all the observations for this variable, for this data frame, gear, can see gear 3, 4, but not 5, right? No 5 now. And next example, we will show those rows whose total counts exceed 10 and horsepower less than 105. So we just add another condition here. So the more, this is the new data frame which we want to create, then pass empty cars using pipeline to the group by gear. Then we field with the n larger than 10 and also add horsepower less than 105. 2 conditions here in the field function. Just run. So next time we'll show table for the gear variable in this new data frame. So now gear value 3 has only 1 observation, and gear value 4 has 7 observations, counts less than last time we have shown here because we add another condition for the horsepower less than 105. So if we show these data frames old observation, can see gear level 3 and 4 and horsepower less than 105, right? So in this video, you have learned many kinds of operations using filter function in Dplyr or in tidyverse framework. So it's very useful to do many kinds of different selection or filtering operations to the data frame in R. And you can also download the source files from this GitHub link, and more videos on this playlist for rprogramming will be uploaded later. And from this GitHub link, there are many source files with the subnames for different sections. So you can find the video belongs to which section and which lecture from the video description. Then you can find corresponding source files on GitHub. Thanks for watching.